Good morning. Oh, shoot. Good evening, YouTube, because as you can see out that window, um, it's nighttime at the time I'm recording. I haven't recorded in a while. It's currently December 27th, 2021, and I'm still on the theme where I'm still waiting my time on whether or not I should stay or if I should go. At this point, it really doesn't matter because even if it's decided that I stay at my job by my managers, I'm still leaving. I'm still leaving. I just of course it delays my departure, but I realized that I no longer want to be at a slave driving job, the type of job where um, I'm just seen as my numbers and not as the total package. Um, to be honest, a chimpanzee is intelligent enough to do this job. Um, you know, as far as like the speed of it and everything else, um, I'm moving on. And I'm not gonna whine about it. I speak candidly about this situation so you guys can learn from me. And the most dangerous situation that you can be in is to depend on a job to pay your mortgage, to pay your rent, to feed your kids, to feed your family, to take care of your parents, and so on and so forth. To even take care of um, your kept woman. They get expensive too. Um, but with all seriousness, part of the reason why I haven't recorded in a few days, due to lack of motivation, to be honest, but also because I've been occupying my time on LinkedIn Learning and on Udemy. Basically, reteaching myself the fundamentals of accounting. I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but I took some accounting courses. I took 3 accounting courses about 8 years ago at a community college. At the time, I was kind of in transition then too. I had gotten laid off from a government job that I had, and I just wasn't making any kind of progress or finding any kind of jobs at that point in my life. I was, much younger, had less sophisticated work experience, and so on and so forth. And now I kind of find myself in another transition um, right now where I'm just basically changing careers. I mean, I've been kind of doing this since since um, since August of this year. Okay, um, and this was an experiment. To be honest, and I just didn't know it. I just figured, okay, well, my friend works here and was able to do well in this position, so I will too. And to be honest, If I am given another month, 2 or 3 months, um, I will become proficient at this job. Because that's just how I am. But I never anticipated being this difficult, and because it's just not a natural way of thinking. Like every job I've had, pretty much, I've been pretty much a high performer. Because and most jobs are really simple that have nothing to do with the medical sciences or engineering or anything like that. Um, but I've always pretty much excelled in most jobs that I've had because they've been, let's be honest, they've been simple. And I know people calling, would look at me with the fish eye at me calling anything in customer service being simple, is it considered being pretty ridiculous. But you gotta remember, I worked at a high profile tech company for the last 5 years, and only the strong survive at the tech company. Let's get that straight. Only the strong. And so the biggest challenging for me in customer service was to pretty much be able to handle my emotions. Once I learned how to do that, through, I ain't gonna lie, like at this company, I worked around some really talented individuals. And I was pretty talented myself because you got to remember, I came from, a customer background. I've worked a customer service background my entire life. So I was already one of the more skilled representatives at my company at that time. And but boy, did I meet some talented individuals. A couple of them. One knew how to write really good emails, and like he was just a master of communicating in written form. Like if and no, I do not wish this upon myself or anybody else for that matter. But if I were to be in a position where I was off to war and he was my bunkmate, then I would have him write letters to my girlfriend or my wife. He would be the one. Um, just really talented individual, and so of course, just being around him and establishing a rapport and goofing off too a little bit with him, um, that helped me become a better rep in written form. But there was a team lead at that time who was just, he's the best phone person I ever heard in my life, that I ever witnessed in my life. And, he wouldn't get on the phone often, but like, he would get on the phone if like one of his reps needed his assistance. And one time, one of my coworkers just, completely just lost control over the phone. Not in the sense that she said anything inappropriate, but she just wore out. He just the caller just wore out her patience. I mean, just completely to the point where she was like, "I'm just done." And so, he didn't give her any shit about it. He didn't give her any I'm trying not to curse. He didn't give her any flack about anything about the call. He just took over the call, and he was just nasty on that phone. I mean, he went from. I mean, he just used. I don't even know how many gears there's in a in a Lamborghini, but like he used all the gears. It seemed like at one time he just kept shifting gears all the way till he was like at the sixth gear or something. Within a second. I mean, I don't want to talk about exactly what happened in that phone conversation because it is company information, but let's just say he was able to be firm with this person because this person was a complete jerk. So he was able to be firm with them. Then got him de-escalated to the point where he was no longer being a jerk because basically he was my team leader at the time. Now he's a project manager at that company. But anyway, I mean, he got him from calm down from being a jerk to willing to be cooperative, and it took a little. It took a little aggressiveness and you know and a little finessing, as I would call it. But like he did it, it was crazy because like he did it in a manner where he didn't even where where my lead at that time wasn't even being a jerk about it. He didn't seem like he didn't come off as a jerk. He didn't come off as um, as someone who lost control. He controlled this entire phone call. And at that time, I had never been around a rep who was that talented. Um, and don't get me wrong, there was one or two reps at my previous job that, that handled escalated situations pretty good. But nobody, like, my lead was a beast. And that's probably why he's really done so well at that company and getting promoted over and over and over. Like, he was the first customer service rep to make manager, to go from customer service rep to manager. That was unheard of. We didn't even have a career track at that time for customer service reps to even become manager. So that's how much of a beast he was, and how much of an asset he was to our department at that time. So when I witnessed him, he handles that call so well that I took notes of what he did. Chicken scratch notes at that time because I didn't have time to like really digest like everything he said in that conversation until later on. Definitely a beast. And if you're watching, yeah, you a beast. I stole some things from you that day, some lessons from you, and yeah. And by the way, he was absolutely a great manager as well. So I won't even lose sight of that. But anyway, so in other words, at that point, I used to kind of get emotionally upset and everything. And then over time, I just found myself calming down because I knew how, just from witnessing greatness, I knew how to control a call. And so all the stuff that's, difficult about customer service, it doesn't even phase me anymore. I've mastered it. Um, but I want to do something else where I have control over my future. Even if I do stay in customer service, um, I want to be able to also have a side hustle that generates, you know, good income where I can always um, fall back to that if I'm ever in the wrong job situation again. Or, build that into, a business that's sellable. Okay. Because if I decide to go 100% at it and go extremely hard at it, I want it to be a sellable business. Otherwise, and I want to run it like I intend to sell that business. Otherwise, I feel like I'm wasting my time. Um, and I want to do that for a number of reasons. Um, when if or when I were to sell that business years from now, I want to be able to ask and receive a executive position of some sort because I'm running the business, I'm hiring employees, and I'm basically leaving my imprint on that company until the day that I sell it. So, but getting back to what I've been doing, last few days I've been on LinkedIn Learning, and I've been on Udemy, and I probably did mention this earlier. Goodness, my short-term memory is terrible. Uh, but like I'm studying I'm relearning the fundamentals of accounting because I want to become a bookkeeper, and I want to be able to do that as a business and or as a full-time job. That would be ideal, to have a full-time job, and then outside of my job I have my own business where I don't compete with the business that I have a full-time job at as a full charge bookkeeper, if that makes any sense. And so what I'm hoping to do just long term is to transition to bookkeeping, even though, to be honest with you, right now, as a very experienced customer service rep, I'm talking about I have on the phones, I have about 9 or 10 years of experience on just doing phone jobs alone. Oh, since college, right? I mean, I've been, but like not all phone jobs are the same. Like for instance, I was working at a golf reservations um, company for a minute. Then I was working as a phone interviewer for a recruitment outsourced recruitment um, company. I did that for like shoots about 2 years. Yeah, so I got about 9, almost 10 years of experience on, just taking phone calls, but just hardcore customer service. Um, Even though I would say there's some elements of customer service, even in giving interviews and things of that nature. Um, the hardcore customer service where there's a defined service or product that's that I'm supporting. Um, I at least have 6 years experience in that role. And so with all that being said, I've gotten to a point where I've mastered customer service. And that doesn't necessarily mean that some days aren't better than others, but I pretty much know what I'm doing when I get into a sticky situation within policy. I just, and for the most part, I'm pretty much able to de-escalate customers. It's pretty, it's not that hard for me anymore. So in other words, I'm at a point now where if I get a senior role, or if I, convince someone to, a recruiter to hire me as a lead, I'm going to make about over 50,000 a year in the Chicago market. In the Chicago market, as base salary, I'm getting between 50 and 55. That's what I'm worth, right? Of course, that's on the top end of the scale. You know what I'm saying? But like, I worked at a startup for 5 years. Done everything from supporting, services to even working the escalations line, to working the investigations team and investigations team. I'm trying to keep it, general. But some of y'all gonna know what this company is. What else? I did an emergency. I supported. So I've pretty much seen almost every situation that could come up, and I survived. Of course, like the only difference, like I've seen everything, but the only difference is like some situations that are new are still like a variation of something else that I've experienced in the past. But like, I'm tired of customer service. I'm burnt to a crisp. I'm not saying that I wouldn't take the right customer service role, but right now, I want to get to a point where I'm, only using that as a fallback if I decide to create my own business out of that and just do consulting, or if I just happen to piss off the wrong people in management, that like I usually do, and get fired, I could just fall back on these work from home jobs, that weren't meant to be kept for more than 6 months. Just to pay bills, then fine. But like I want to be able to make a living where I provide a valuable service, and then I'm valued. You know, not where I'm expected to do. I mean, basically, if this was construction, the union would call this, piece per hour work or piecework. I'm tired. I mean, I get paid by the hour, but it's still piecework. I'm tired of piecework. Because because whoever you're working for, um, typically, and I'm gonna be honest, most managers are bad at their jobs. You know, in I think the most important aspect of a manager's job is to be able to communicate. And it seems like in most cases, the individuals who are, heading over a department or running a department are usually the worst communicators. Um, I shouldn't be feeling like absolute crap. Um, and it's due to bad communication. Like I can I can accept and I can take accountability for um, poor performance, but I cannot. Two things I cannot accept. I cannot accept, being communicated in a poor manner. At least if you respect me as a human being, right? Um, and I can't accept poor leadership. So, but now, what they are good at, because you don't make it that far without being good at something. Um, they're good at hiding, not delegating. I mean, it is a form of delegation, but they're usually good at hiding behind, their managers who, their direct managers who work below them. So so he'll use my manager to um, pretty much explain for him his actions. So, and I'm just tired of those games. Um, it's not necessary. And don't get me wrong, being a manager is not an easy job. Being a people manager is not an easy job. Managing anything is not an easy job. Um, when I even to this degree, when I bought my two flat, I inherited a property management job the same day that I closed on that property. And even though I didn't get my tenants until a year later, but even with that being said, um, management can either be you can either manage in a way where you make people feel like complete crap, or or they become so um, they develop such a trust level with you that they'll just confide in you. And so That's how I rather manage. To me, that's true leadership. I don't trust this dude, and so that's why I feel like I'm in such limbo. Even though I feel like I already know the answer to my question, it's the aggravation of waiting for my fate. Um, it's still 3 days left in this month. Um, I'm trying to close out strong, and then whatever my fate is, you know, I'm gonna take it like a man. I'm gonna be professional, and I'm not gonna make a scene. Because that that part of my chapter, if it's what I think it's going to be, is over. There's no At that point there's no sense in crying over spoiled milk. I did my job, didn't do it quite as well as I wanted to. Um, just overall, but I'm gonna move on, and because I have a whole lifetime to live, and so I'm gonna have to do something productive in that in that lifetime. So I'm taking these bookkeeping courses. Um, I received a couple certificates for um, two bookkeeping courses on LinkedIn Learning. I bought two more courses on Udemy. I mean, dirt cheap, like under $20 for both of them. And just going through those, and like to be honest, the LinkedIn learnings um, were more difficult. Just because of the way they word things and everything. The Udemy course is easier, and it's a certificate course as well. Um, but I'm glad I'm doing both. And then once I complete those, then I'm gonna move into um, training myself on QuickBooks online, and then after that, I'm going to, and this is like regardless of whether or not I lose my job. And then after that, I'm going to be I'm going to shave because like I look like a werewolf. I'm going to shave. Um, get my barber Dante to make me look beautiful. And I mean, I'm kind of serious, but and then I'm going to pursue my first client, and I want to get my first client, or my first um, bookkeeping job right away. So I might my first I'm gonna say my first two clients, I might just go ahead and work for them for free, provided that they're a not for profit and that they do really good work um, in the community that they serve. So, um, and so if I get just one really, one not for profit, I'm just pretty much that first month, first 30 days, I'm pretty much going to go there and work on establishing a rapport. Um, I'll probably do some customer service work online. In the meantime, just so I can, you know, pay bills and not get kicked out. Well, who we kidding? Cook County takes like 3 years to foreclose on somebody, but I just don't want to get in the hole, right? And so I'll take a job online at home to um, pretty much keep my head tread water. And then I'm also just going to use that time to prospect and try to just pick up clients. Um, I won't. I won't. I won't quit. Now here's a couple directions I could go into with the bookkeeping. Now, once I've gotten my client, um, you know, my not for profit that I'm just pretty much volunteering for. Um, at that point, as I gain more and more experience, I should be able to convince someone to hire me as a full charge bookkeeper. It might take 6 months, might even take a year. And so in that time frame, I'm pretty much going to be working uh, my online job until I can either find a better job, but I'm hoping to basically find a full time bookkeeping job so that I can have a W-2 job, here, and then have my business outside of work. Now I won't compete with whoever the industry that I choose to become a full time bookkeeper in. And wow, this video is super long. That's another thing. I prom my goal is to keep these videos at 15 minutes tops, but 36, 38 minutes, 40 minutes, it's gonna happen every once in a while because I just like to talk. Uh, just to be honest with you. And I'm a very introverted guy, by the way. So it's not because I'm outgoing or anything like that. But like now you're my friend. So now, my audience is my friend. So I feel like I can talk to y'all like I would if my uncle was alive. Rest in peace to my Uncle Bill. Or if you were my auntie or even my mama. Um, but but yeah. So I can either get a really good job in customer service, um, try to build upon that, go into management, or get a management job. But I really want to go into bookkeeping. I 8 years ago I really wanted to become an accountant, but Glenn had to eat. You know what I'm saying? I had to eat. So the so like whenever you're trying to break into a new career or whatever, it's gonna take some time to do so. And time wasn't on my side because at that time I didn't have no money. I mean, I don't have no money today, but for different reasons. I mean, I ain't have no two properties either. I ain't have no house and no two flat either. That has equity in it. Now it's just life's me pretty much allowing lifestyle creep into my finances and F it up. But I'm owning it and I'm responsible and I'm getting back on the grind. And so if I'm gonna be grinding and everything, I want to do something that I enjoy doing. So anyway, 8 years ago, I really wanted to get into accounting, but work was calling, and then both of my last jobs, I worked a lot of overtime. So, that was another thing. I was chasing the dollar. And I ended up, accumulating two properties and then getting laid off, after getting my rental property before I could even get tenants in there. So, paid a lot in post renovations I missed and holding costs before I was able to secure two families who are still there and who signed their second lease. Hopefully, we'll see what happens next year. Hopefully, they'll sign a third lease. So, I just like to thank all my friends who tuned in today. Well, today, by the time this gets released, it won't be today. But I'd like to thank y'all for supporting, and for my new friends. Those of you who are my new friends, please subscribe. If you like this video, take it from me. Do not fall into the trap of where your primary job is your only source of income. Even if you're a real young person, try to find something that you can do outside of work. That'll take 2 to 4 hours of your time to either make some extra money or to build a business. I'm at the point now where I'm not quite as young as you, and now I want to build something that I can create that can turn into a business. So that way I'm not working for two masters in the same day. Unless I call no, I'm not a master. I'm just self-employed. So I'd like to thank all my friends, for tuning in, and hopefully I can let me just cut this thing off. I'll holler at y'all.